Bada bing, bada boom, we're back. All right, so the new setup isn't here yet. Have not had the time to get that set up in my room. So, nice background, nice lighting, nice audio. This is very makeshift today, but we're going to talk about three main things. We're going to talk about the Blazers now, and more importantly, the Blazers so far this season, what we've seen from them, and then we'll talk about the Blazers for the rest of the season, the end of the regular season, the postseason. That third video will be kind of like the long-term future, and that's the most important. That's what we're mainly worried about. But just talking about this season, right? Let's talk about our guys first. Shaden Sharp. All right, we all expected him to take a jump in scoring. I think this is probably as predictable as it gets as far as like scoring. His efficiency has been really really well. Obviously, he's not shooting from three what you want, but he's taking hard shots, and I don't want to make excuses for him. This is a young guy. That young guards in the league, they're going to put him up. They're going to have to make mistakes early on to develop. And one thing that we see is like the guards that are best in the league are almost always the guards that are given like a ton of responsibility early on, even when they're not necessarily ready for it, right? Like when we look at SGA, I know that's an example you've probably heard of and are tired of, but he started on a playoff team his rookie year and had one of the worst efficiency seasons of all time. Darius Garland, I think, had the worst efficiency season of all time as a rookie, right? Like I always thought he was going to be good. I'm not trying to praise myself, but I always kind of saw it in him. The eye test tells you a lot, when you're like a real basketball coach, trainer, all of the above. But Shaden Sharp, we've had to put him out there. We've had to let him make mistakes. Listen, here's the thing that I see. Eye test tells me he's putting in more effort on defense, way more effort on defense, in fact. And it's a clear, it's not even just from like, our coach or the coach beforehand. I think it's his camp that's kind of influencing him to do this. I think he knows that's the next step. And that's been huge for him. It's kept him on the court. It's given him more minutes. It's given him more leeway and freedom and room to make mistakes. But 34 from three from a guy that's a shooting guard, that is going to have to get better. But overall, I've liked what I've seen this season. Denny, I could make a whole video about him. What a steal. We won't even get into that whole trade itself, but for us to get him for what we got is unbelievable. Now, in history, we are terrible in the trade market, right? Like we traded Nickeil Alexander-Walker right away without even considering keeping him. Look at him. Norman Powell sucked for us. Look what happened when we traded him. And those are just two of so many cases. But overall, Denny was just a steal. And, it does make me happy to see kind of like the Portland management succeed a little bit in actually making a valuable trade and kind of gaining some value through assets. But Jerami Grant, before Dame left, we all know, and this is kind of well known, that Dame negotiated a contract for Jerami, right? Like he wanted Jerami to get a bag. He thought he was a great player. Jerami had been trying to, become like not even a max contract player, but that high tier contract player for a very long time. And Dame had helped him get there, and he helped encourage the front office. Obviously, Dame didn't know he's going to come back, and it doesn't matter too much because Dame took a small contract. But with that being said, he's been a good vet. He's been a cool vet, right? Like I love him to just represent us. He's dope. I'm not gonna lie, he's dope. The way he dresses and his music, like everything. He's super cool dude, and he obviously gets along super well with Drew Holiday. That's another guy. Like man, I've always loved Drew Holiday, and to go out and get the guy that's known for stopping Dame, right? Like the nightmare of Damian Lillard, as New Orleans fans would say for a little bit back in the day. Man, that's special. And I think he's still amazing, right? Like the numbers aren't perfect. Let's see, 16, 6, and 5. I know I gotta move my makeshift light right here. Those are good numbers. And the defensive impact, I mean, is unbelievable if you're watching the games. Scoot, since he came back, has been unbelievable. And I give all the credit, right? Like I harp on, I'm really hard on our head coach, but I believe some of our shooting coaches and our trainers, God, Shamgod, and some of the guys that we have, in the locker room and influencing these guys are really helping them succeed, right? Like after the Chauncey Billups thing, I know Scoot was really close to him. Everybody kind of knew it, and obviously Dame too. But for Scoot, that was really rough, and I didn't know how he was going to kind of bounce back from that situation. I mean, his growth was totally stunted. And people forget, like, he was in conversations, like top two, top three conversations, but literally there were people saying like he could be in consideration over Wemby. That's crazy to think now, right? Like Wemby, I mean, is his impact is excuse me, I'm gonna make some people mad, but I mean, it's twice as good as Michael Jordan. Look at what he does on both sides of the court, right? Like, I mean, it's unbelievable. And SGA is kind of that in a guard form, not to that extent, but yeah, man. I think when you look at guards across the league, I think it's important for their early years, they have to be able to struggle. They have to be able to make a lot of mistakes and be super inefficient and get picked on defense. And everything else, like the experience and the confidence is most important. That's what they're developing. And then off the court, they're developing strength. They're developing, conceptual awareness and these things with the coaches. And Scoot Henderson, man, whatever he's doing in Portland, it's working because the numbers are here. He's only 31% from three. I know that's bad, but listen, I'm watching the games, y'all. His shot looks great. His shot looks better than it's ever looked, honestly. Um, and it's really pretty. He looks confident shooting it. Tumani, right? 36 and a half from three. Some people would act as if he's the worst three-point shooter in the world. Some people act as if he's the best. Listen, all I know is he is a all-world defender. If he's not all-world or all-NBA first-team defense, it's just highway robbery. Highway robbery. I mean, he shows up every single night, and he is giving the utmost effort. And I will admit, there's a little bit there where I think he got a little bit hot-headed, and he was shooting some tough threes for a couple games, and he was just taking some drives and getting into isolations that he has no business being in, right? Like, I know we gave him a bag, but we gave him a bag not to be the guy, but to be one of those like amazing 3 or 4 pieces, right? That are just like on any given night can go crazy, but every night they're giving you 1 or 2 or 3 things that you need to support the Denny's, the Shadens, and the Dames when he comes back. So Tumani, man, I think I speak for all Blazers fans when I say this. Tumani, we love him. I want him forever. He's us. He's a Blazer. Tumani, and that kind of goes for him, Donovan Clingan, Shaden Sharp, and some of these younger guys. Like, I think we're all like this young core, right? I think Yang Hansen, I don't care what anybody says, I think he has a lot of promise, right? We look at Luka Garza. I never thought, looking at his body type and the way he was in college and his movement, that he could drop the weight to be a decent player that he has become, and he has. So I'm not saying that Yang it's all weight problem. It's experience, it's conditioning, it's weight, it's understanding, even English for that matter. But I don't hate it. I hate how high we took him. What I really hate is that we got Cedric Coward at 11 and traded him. I would really like to have Cedric Coward going into the next couple of years trying to compete, but it is what it is. We got Tumani. We got a lot of wings, to get on the court and a lot of talent at those wing positions. Donovan Clingan. All right, man. This video is going to be a lot longer than I expected, but Donovan Clingan, just unreal. I got to say, there's so many players you'll hear me, and I don't mean to sound cocky, but I'll be like, oh, I thought this guy was going to be good, even though everybody thought he was going to be bad. Oh, I saw through the analytics. But with Donovan Clingan, like, I thought what he is today would be the peak of what he will ever be. But he has reached that so quickly and proven that he has so much more potential, and he has gotten so much better as a mover, as a shooter, and especially, guys, if you watch ball, and we've even looked at it in the last video, if you go back, he is such a good playmaker out of the high post position, right? One thing is with Denny, you want to get that high pick and roll, so he has a lot of time between there and the basket off that pick and roll to work, to make decisions and options off of that advantage that they've created. But right now, Denny's become so good that most teams, they're blitzing Denny. So essentially what's happening is Donovan is not getting a full screen. He's kind of slipping it almost. He's catching that ball immediately. Denny's getting into him. From there, we're playing 4-on-3. It's just about making a quick decision, a good pass, and, getting an efficient look. And a lot of that is placement of the other players, not just, Donovan making the play. But Donovan he's become so much better at that. He's such a great defender. I think I'll say it now, clip it. I think he's going to be a top 5 center in the league in the next 2 or 3 years, and I think he might even potentially end up being like a top 3 center. Is that crazy? I don't know. Caleb Love. As much as I love seeing Scoot come back, it's been really tough to see Caleb Love on the bench, man. This kid is a baller. Like, he is a real deal baller. 39% from field goal isn't amazing, but you gotta understand, like, the eye test is telling me different. 32 from 3, eye test is telling me different, guys. I watch the games. This guy can hoop. He can really shoot the crap out the ball. You know what I mean? And it's a very Dame-esque shot, right? Very wide base, elevates a lot from three ball, which is not usual, right? Usually it's a little bit more push, but more elevation in the mid range. But Caleb Love, he plays a very Dame-esque game, and I love having him. Rob Will, if we're trying to compete in the next 2 or 3 years, man, is he a great player to be able to, switch up the look, right? To be able to, like, we've only done it a couple times, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of how Tiago Splitter plays it and the sets he runs with it, but to run Rob Will and Donovan Clingan out there, it's just a heck of a look, man. It really switches it up. It causes teams trouble. It makes them do what you want to do. It makes them, kind of adjust their game to you, and then you can play off that and adjust off that. And so that gives us an extra look, but it also just gives us a heck of a backup center, like a good backup center. Man, I actually like Duop Reith. I think he's a really solid backup center. But Rob Will, is a starting level coming off the bench. And so, yeah, I'm kind of, like something inside me wants to keep him on the team. But a part of me also thinks that, other teams and other GMs and coaches, they're going to see what I'm seeing. They're going to see that he is a starting level center for a team who, isn't looking for offensive production as much, or at least like a 6-man level center for a competitive team. And if we're not going to be that in the next 2 or 3 years, we got to make a decision quick. Ryan Rupert, he's right here. I think we cut him just a couple days ago. Sad, man. I'll be honest with you. I think we should have kept him over Chris Murray. I mean, no doubt. Let's look at the numbers. Chris Murray's shooting 26% from 3. Do you know why he's in the NBA? Well, he's a good defender, and he's very tall. There's not too many people in the world who are 6'7", right? Much less that can actually move athletically or in a coordinated fashion. But Chris Murray is in the league to shoot the basketball, and he cannot shoot the basketball. And that's a big problem. Like Ryan Rupert, when he gets on the court, man, I know what he's going to do. Like, he's going to be everywhere defensively, and he's going to get a layer too with that super long arm, big hand, left hand, right hand layup, whatever he does, where he slaps to the top of the glass. It's all he's got, but he gives it to us every game. Blake Wesley, I don't know what we traded for him. I'm not a big fan of trading for things we don't need, but I also do love Blake Wesley. He's just a good guy and a hell of a player to watch. He's so fast. Blake Wesley, one of the fastest guys in the league. If you know ball, you know ball. But Javante Cook, I like him too. Started off, I believe, at HBCU or maybe even like a JUCO before that. So I know he has a cool story, and he's a very good player. Not necessarily great at anything, but just kind of good all around. So listen, I know I said we were going to talk about the season, and I just spent forever talking about all these people. I didn't mention Vit, right? Let me mention a couple of people real quick. Vit, man, he hasn't been good for us. He has not, and I like him. I like him a lot. I want to like him, but he hasn't been good for us. Him listed at point guard is insane, by the way. He's a small forward, no doubt, shooting guard at best, but all right. I hate that we're giving up assets for things we don't need. Right? Sidi Kosoko broke out as an amazing player this year. He started a lot of games. He truly has been amazing. I know 32% from 3 isn't great, but he's pretty much amazing at everything else, and just does the little things. Matisse Thybulle, let's see. It says game 7 games. It's hard for me to believe he's played 7 games, y'all. Maybe I've seen 1 or 2, and it just so happens he's playing when I'm not watching. But Matisse Thybulle, he's not often on the bench. When he is a great presence. We all know why he has a contract in the league, right? He is an amazing defender if you need him, but more importantly, he's a great leader. He's a great person. He's just a great role model. You do want to build a good culture, but no matter what franchise you are, even if you're the Jailblazers, which if you didn't know, Jailblazers coming out April. For anybody who's a hardcore live and die Blazers fan, that's gonna be interesting. We'll see how that is. I'm excited to see what the community thinks about that. But yeah, no. So as far as like the actual year, we started off. I think the first 10 games had a crazy record, right? We did that last year too. Am I gonna buy it? No, not really. But am I always gonna get excited? Yeah, yeah, I am. And so the past 2 years, kind of like that drop off from the start of the year, has been tough to deal with. I'm not gonna lie. But with that being said, hold on, let me make sure my computer's not gonna die. We got to end this video pretty quick. All right. So just in summary, real quick, this the beginning of the season, it's been rough. We were talking about great start to the season, big drop off. How can you not expect that when you have what happened with our old head coach, right? We gave him so much time. I gave him there were so many nights I'm just watching, and I just don't understand why we're doing what we're doing pretty much on every play. And he's just not coaching. I'm watching the timeouts, and he's not actually ever getting to the guys, just talking to the coaches. He can't draw up anything. His challenges were used in the first half every game, never planned to be in the game. Terrible misuse of timeouts. The rotations were awful, totally stunted the growth of our young players, right? And then it comes out that he's involved in a mafia, gambling ring. Tough start to the season, boys. But listen, we'll talk about Tiago in a little bit. We're all right. We're looking at, I'm not sure what seed we're at. But I know we're about even. So, we're going to talk about where we're going from here. We've looked great. We've looked terrible. And now we have to decide, excuse me, who we are. Or that's going to just kind of be decided for us. So, talk to you in a minute. And, yeah, appreciate you tuning in. Peace.